And today we're discussing about the next continuation topic about the liquid fuels. ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ మనం రివిజన్ చూసిన తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ కంటిన్యూషన్కి వెళ్దామండి. I will tell you what is known to be liquid fuel. The liquid fuel when we are discussing, which is used for the industrial purpose and domestic purpose. Then what is the difference between industrial and as well as domestic purpose? The word industrial indicating that it is used as industrial fuel, right? That might be used in automobile, which is used in the space vehicles, which is used in the machines and etc. Then what is known to be the domestic purpose? Now, when we are discussing about the domestic purpose is nothing but just like a cooking gas. We are taking the cooking gas is known to be the N-butane. N-butane is known to be the gaseous fuel, right? Now, when we are taking the liquid fuels like kerosene, the kerosene is known to be the cooking fuel. What we are saying is a domestic fuel. For the domestic purpose, for the cooking purpose, we are taking the fuels like kerosene, we are taking the fuels like petrol and etc. Now, they are known to be the domestic fuel. The domestic fuels are industrial fuels. They are known to be in the liquid state, now which containing hydrocarbon system. Point. Then what is known to be liquid fuels? The liquid fuels which containing hydrocarbon linkage. Now, what is the main advantages of liquid fuel? Now, when we are discussing about the advantages of liquid fuels, the liquid fuels containing the high calories of energy. I will tell you what is known to be the high kilojoules per kg. What is known to be the high calorific value. What is known to be the high thermal energy. Now, thermal energy is explained based on that any of the fuel sample which containing the carbon which burns in the presence of oxygen. When carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon dioxide. Okay, the reaction what we're saying is a combustion reaction. Along with that carbon dioxide, it liberating thermal energy, right? In our previous class, we have discussed when the carbon burns in the presence of little amount of oxygen. Okay, again, in the presence of oxygen burning, what we are saying is a combustion reaction. And carbon plus less amount of oxygen gives rise to carbon monoxide plus thermal energy. Now we will have two chemical reaction. Let me differentiate chemical reaction 1 with the chemical reaction 2. When we are discussing about the two main chemical reaction, the first chemical reaction indicating that combustion reactions identified in the solid fuels, and the second category of the chemical reactions are identified in that combustion reactions identified in the gaseous and as well as the liquid fuels, right? The most of that gaseous fuels or the liquid fuels, it liberating the byproduct like carbon monoxide. The major byproduct is carbon monoxide. The best example, when we are taking a petrol in the system, when we are taking a diesel in the system, and the petrol and the diesel in the system which containing the byproduct is known to be the carbon monoxide. When we are taking the coal oriented thermal power plant, right? Coal oriented thermal power plant. When we are discussing about coal oriented thermal power plant, it gives rise to carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is known to be the exhaust gas. So the exhaust gases, when we are discussing of the two main classification, number one is known to be that exhaust gas liberated by gaseous and as well as liquid fuel. The second classification, exhaust gases liberated by the combustion of the solid fuel. Solid fuel, the best example is known to the coal sample. And the gaseous and the liquid fuels, just now we have discussed, they are known to be the hydrocarbon. They are known to be the hydrocarbon based on the physical state. They are the two main classification. The one should be gaseous and the should be the liquid. Let me discuss step by step. In our previous class, we have discussed what is the difference between organic and as well as inorganic theory. We have discussed the difference between inorganic and organic theory. Inorganic theory is known to be that carbide theory, and organic theory is known to be that Englers theory. According to the inorganic and organic theory, now we are extracting the petroleum product. According to the inorganic theory, we are extracting the petrol from calcium carbide. Calcium carbide is extracted in the deep in at the crust. When the calcium is combined with the carbon at the higher temperature condition, it gives rise to calcium carbide. Calcium carbide undergoes hydrolysis, gives rise to calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide gives rise to calcium hydroxide plus the byproduct is known to be acetylene. Acetylene gives rise to ethylene. Ethylene gives rise to ethane. And we are taking 3 moles of acetylene molecule, which gives rise to the benzene. Along with that, they are giving rise light oil, middle oil, and as well as heavy oil. I will tell you what is known to be the inorganic theory. When we are explaining about inorganic theory is explained based on that inorganic elements like calcium, which is combined with the carbon, calcium and the carbon, which is available in the earth crust, by applying the high temperature condition, it initially gives rise to calcium carbide. Calcium carbide gives rise to calcium hydroxide plus acetylene. Acetylene gives rise to ethylene. Ethylene gives rise to ethane. And the polymerization of acetylene molecule gives rise to benzene. So we are getting n number of hydrocarbons, right? You're saying that ethylene is a hydrocarbon, acetylene is a hydrocarbon, ethane is a hydrocarbon, ethylene is a hydrocarbon, and benzene is also known to be that hydrocarbon. Okay. Hydrocarbon containing the fuels, what we are saying as light, middle, and heavy oil. I'm repeating. The fuels which contain in the hydrocarbon, the fuels of three main classification. The one should be a light oil, and there should be the middle oil, and there should be the heavy oil. Now, when we are discussing the light, middle, and the heavy oil of the fuel component, and those fuel components are extracted by the inorganic theory by the combination of calcium and the carbon. Then, and this theory containing the drawback, we have already discussed in the previous classes, which is unable to explain the presence of the sulfur, nitrogen, and optical active compounds and the chlorophyll present in the earth crust. When we are taking any of the fuel sample, along with the fuel sample, what we are getting? We are getting an impurity like sulfur, which is containing the impurity like nitrogen. It contains the chlorophyll and as well as optical active compounds. So inorganic theory is not that much predominant to explain fuels extraction and the fuel synthesis. Next. Now there is another theory which is based on the decomposition of plants and as well as dead animals. Organic theory, when we are discussing, organic theory explained based on the decomposition of the plants and as well as animal. Now when we are discussing about organic theory successfully explained the presence of the elements like sulfur, nitrogen, and optical active compounds and the chlorophyll that is present in a petroleum product containing the impurity like sulfur, nitrogen, optical active compounds, and the chlorophyll. The presence of these elements are available in the petrol now, which is explained by the organic theory. I will tell you what is known to be that organic theory. Now, when we are discussing about organic theory, let's see here. When we are discussing about organic theory, the organic theory is nothing but we are taking a dead animal, right? The deep in the earth crust containing dead animals, right? Because of earthquake, the dead animals, dead marine system, or any of the biological system, or that might be a plant, now which is identified, which is collected at the earth crust during the earthquake process. Then after the several years, it is decomposed. The decomposition of any biological system gives rise to petroleum product. The theory what we are saying is organic theory. Okay, next. Now we are discussing about the next continuation topic is very, very important. What we're saying as a mining of the petroleum. You see here. Let me tell you what is known to be the mining of petroleum. The word mining is nothing but, you see here. The word mining is nothing but we are extracting the petrol. We are extracting the petrol by applying air followed by the pressure. Now, during the mining process, petroleum products are extracted from the deep in the earth crust, right? The oil found floating of the salt water and as well as natural gas. When we are extracting the crude oil, and this crude oil containing NaCl as an impurity, and this crude oil containing the byproduct is known to be the natural gas. So we are extracting the petroleum product. Petroleum products are extracted from the black colored mass. The black colored mass, what we are saying is a crude oil, and the crude oil containing a natural gas, and the crude oil containing the salt water as an impurity. Now what is the question is how we are extracting the crude oil. From the crude oil, how we are extracting light, middle, and as well as heavy oil. You see this. Crude oil can be extracted by the process what we are saying as a mining. Mining is a process is nothing but air lift pumping method. I'm repeating. Mining is nothing but air lift pumping method. In the air lift pumping method, the surface of the earth that should be drilled with the pipe, and those pipes having high and as well as lower pressure. Now the pipes, when we're seeing about the pipes of the two main classification. The first classification what we are saying is inner pipe. Number one is known to be the outer pipe. So when we are taking the earth crust should be drilled with the two types of the pipes. The first category of pipes are known to be the inner pipe, and the second category of the pipe is known to be the outer pipe. Now, from the inner pipe, you are applying the pressure, and from the outer pipe, we are extracting the petrol. I'm repeating. From the inner pipe, now we are applying the pressure. When the pressure is applied through the inner pipe to the deep in the earth crust, the deep in the earth crust containing the petroleum product, the deep in the earth crust containing the crude oil, along with the crude oil, it containing the impurity like sodium chloride, and it containing and another hydrocarbon like a natural gas. Natural gas is known to be the gaseous fuel. So when we are extracting liquid fuel, along with the liquid fuel, we're extracting the natural gas and sodium chloride as an impurity. So there is a method what we are saying is a mining process. In the mining process, now we are applying pressure through an inner pipe. When the pressure is applied through the inner pipe, then what will happen? Now, the crude oil that is identified in the deep in the earth crust, I'm repeating, the crude oil which is identified in the deep in the earth crust, which is expelled through the outer pipe, I'm repeating, which is expelled. Now, which is expelled through the outer pipe, now we are extracting the petroleum product that is known to be the liquid state, liquid crude oil, right? Now we'll see the continuation here. Let me explain the mining process identified on the earth crust. The first condition, we should identify the mines in a particular area, just like Arabic countries. Just when we are discussing about the Arabic countries, which containing the rich resources of the mines, now we are identifying the mines. Now, the earth crust should be drilled with the two types of the pipes. The one should be the inner pipe, and there should be the outer pipe. I'm repeating. The one should be the inner pipe, and there should be the outer pipe. Okay, I'm taking here, it is known to be the A. A is known to be the inner pipe, and B is known to be the outer pipe. B is known to be the outer pipe. Then what is happening here? Through A, I'm applying pressure, right? Now, when we are applying compressor pressure, along with the inner pipe, then what will happen? Along with the inner pipe, when you are applying the compressor pressure, then the compressor pressure is applied on the earth crust, the earth crust containing the petroleum products. You see here, the earth crust containing petroleum products. When we are applying the pressure on the earth crust, the pressure in earth crust apply chestnut, then what will happen? Because of the pressure is applied through the earth crust, the extraction of or the expelling of petroleum products, that is nothing but the crude oil, which is identified through the outer pipe. So I'm saying the one should be inner pipe. A is known to be the inner pipe, and B is known to be the outer pipe. Simple. A is known to be the inner pipe, and the B is known to be the outer pipe. The process what we are saying is air lift pumping method. The process is known to be that air lift pumping method, and the process what we are saying is mining process. The process is known to be that mining process. Now, when we are extracting the petroleum from the deep in the earth crust, I'm repeating, when we are extracting the petroleum products from the deep in earth crust, and it containing the following part of impurities. The impurities, when we are discussing, the impurity might be a sand, the impurity might be a water, and it containing a dirt particles, and it containing a water impurity, it containing a natural gas as an impurity, right? And it containing a majority impurities like a sulfur, which is not mentioned here, right? So the crude oil containing the impurities like sulfur, sand, water, dirt, natural gas, and as well as sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is also known to be the impurities. Okay, and the crude oil mixture containing, when we are extracting the crude oil by the mining process, when we are extracting the crude oil from the deep in earth crust, and this crude oil containing the impurities like NaCl, which containing sulfur as an impurity, which containing water as an impurity, which containing dirt as an impurity, and along with it containing a natural gas as a byproduct. Now, the process of the petroleum is nothing but where we are separating and all those impurities present in the crude oil. It's like a purification process, right? Now, crude oil should be purified from the impurities like NaCl, sulfur, sand, water, dirt, and as well as natural gas. The process what we are saying is fractional distillation. It is known to be the processing of petroleum. That we see what is known to be the processing of petroleum. In the processing of petroleum, you are applying several methods. And Let me tell you the first process. The first process is known to be de-emulsification. Okay, the de-emulsification is identified by the Cottrell's method. I will tell you what is known to be the Cottrell's method. In the process, the petroleum which containing, or the crude oil which containing, the crude oil containing the impurity like water, the water like impurity which is separated easily by applying de-emulsification. I will tell you what is the difference between emulsification and as well as de-emulsification. The word emulsification is known to be that addition of water. Water natural అని ఏమంటాడంటే emulsification అంటాడండి. ఆయిల్ నుంచి వాటర్ తీయడాన్ని ఏమంటాడంటే de-emulsification అంటాడు. I'm repeating. Addition of water to the oil is known to be that emulsification. The removal of water from the oil is known to be that de-emulsification. Next one. The given crude oil sample containing the impurity like sulfur, the impurity present in the crude oil which is separated by the addition of a cupric oxide. To the crude oil mixture, just I'm adding the cupric oxide. Cupric oxide react with the impurity sulfur, and the sulfur is extracted by the cupric oxide. Resultant what we are getting is known to be the cupric sulfate. Cupric sulfate is known to be precipitate. Okay, so sulfur which is present in the crude oil as an impurity which is separated by the addition of cupric oxide. Cupric oxide is combined with the sulfur which removes as a cupric sulfate. Next continuation. Now, the final continuation, what we are saying as a fractional distillation process. I will tell you what is known to be fractional distillation process. Fractional distillation process is a process. It is known to be a purification process. It is known to be a purification process, and it is also known to be a separation process, right? Now, what we are separating from by using the fractional distillation. Now, when we are asking a question, when we are applying the fractional distillation method, initially what we are taking is known to be petroleum. Petroleum. Initially what we are taking is known to be the petroleum, and the petroleum should be heated about 400 degrees centigrade. Then what will happen? When the petroleum is heated to about 400 degrees centigrade, and the petroleum is converting into the vapor state. Okay, the crude oil is converting into that vapor state. And this crude oil contains, I'm repeating, the crude oil containing light oil, middle oil, and as well as heavy oil. The crude oil containing the different oil components. The crude oil which containing the different oil component, the different oil components, when it is heated at the 400 degrees centigrade, when it is heated in a furnace for about 400 degrees centigrade, and the crude oil is converting into the vapor state. The vapors of the crude oil gradually passed through the fractionating tower. I'm repeating, what is known to be the fractionating tower. Fractionating tower containing different columns, and the different columns containing different cooling units, which containing the different cooling units. At the fractionating column, based on the densities, I'm repeating, based on the density, we are separating light oil, middle oil, and heavy oil vapors. That means that now when you are heating the crude oil to the 400 degrees centigrade temperature, crude oil is converting into the vapor state. The vaporized crude oil containing light oil vapors, middle oil vapors, and heavy oil vapors based on the boiling points, and based on its density. Now we are separating light oils at the top of the columns, then middle oils at the middle column, and heavy oils at the bottom of the column. Fractionating column containing the three sets, the first set indicating that light oils, the second set indicating that middle oil, and the final set indicating that the bottom part of a set indicating that heavy oils. Let me see diagrammatically in detail. Now see this. Now this diagram is explains about fractional distillation process, right? Now it is explaining about the fractional distillation process. In the process, what we are learning is, initially you are taking the crude oil, right? Here initially you are taking the crude oil. Now the crude oil is heated in the furnace about 400 degrees centigrade temperature. Examination essay the crude oil which is heated in the furnace about 400 degrees centigrade temperature. Then what happened? The crude oil is converting into the steam, right? Now this crude oil is converting into the vapor formation. The crude oil which is converting into the vapor formation, and these vapors are collected at various fractionating columns. Let me tell you, this is known the top of the column. It is known to be the top of the column, right? And it is also known to be the top of the column. And here it is known to be the middle of the column, and it is also known to be that middle of the column, right? Now here we are taking bottom of the column, and here it is known to be that bottom of the column, right? The top of the column I'm saying as A. The top of the column is known to be A. The middle of the column I'm saying as B. The middle of the column is known to be the B. And the bottom of the column, what we are saying as a C. Now, based on their boiling point, you see this. When the crude oil is heated about 400 degrees centigrade, మనం crude oil 400 degrees centigrade heat చేసిన తర్వాత crude oil ఎలా convert అవుతుందన్న? Crude oil is converted into the vapor state, and the vaporized crude oil are passed through the fractional distillating column. I'm repeating. The set what we are saying as fractional distillation set, or the column what we are saying as fractional distillating column. When the crude oil is subjected to the fractional distillating column, the top of the column containing light oil, you see this petroleum ether, which containing the boiling point about 40 to 70 degrees centigrade, and a gasoline, which containing the boiling point about 80 to 120 degrees centigrade. Then followed by kerosene and diesel. Kerosene and diesel is known to be the middle oil, and the lubricant oil, and they are known to be the heavy oil. And lubricant oil and heavy oil, paraffin waxes, greases, they are known to be the heavy oils. So based on that boiling point, you see this boiling point 40 to 7 is light oil, 80 to 120 is known to be the light oil. You see this, you see here 40 to 70 is known to be light oil, 80 to 120 into light oil, 120 to 80, 120 to 180 middle oil, 180 to 250 is a middle oil, 250 to 320. Now these three sets belonging to the middle oil. ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఏంటంటే in మూడు కూడా ఏంటంటే middle oils. The first two sets belonging to the light oil. Lubricant oils greater than 320 degrees centigrade boiling point, they are known to be the heavy oil. So the fractional distillating set, the crude oil in the vapor state, the vaporized crude oil, which containing light, middle, and as well as heavy oil. The light and middle heavy oils are separated, which is separated based on their boiling points and density. Okay, the low boiling point vapors are initially collected at the top of the column. The moderate boiling points are collected at the middle of the column. Moderate boiling point vapors are collected at the middle of the column. The crude oil vapors which containing the high boiling point, which is collected at the bottom of the column. The crude oil vapors which is having the high boiling point, they were collected at the bottom of the column. So based on that, based on their boiling point and density, we can have a three set of oils are extracted from the crude oil. The first set, what I'm saying is light oil, it is known to be that light oil. Then number two is known to be that middle oil, and number three I'm saying as heavy oil, right? Simple. Light oil is a hydrocarbon mixture. Middle oil is also known to be hydrocarbon mixture. Heavy oil could be hydrocarbon mixture. So then what is known to be a fractional distillation process? Fractional distillation is a method. The crude oil containing impurities, the impurities are separated during the fractional distillation process, and impure crude oil is converted to the pure crude oil. The first condition. The second condition, the crude oil containing mixture of the hydrocarbon contents. I'm repeating. Crude oil contains a mixture of the fuel contents. The mixture of the fuel contents, when we are discussing, the mixture of the fuel contents may be the light oil, middle oil, and the heavy oil. The mixture of the fuel contents identified in the crude oil, which is separated based on the densities, and as well as the boiling point. Now, which is separated based on the densities and as well as the boiling point. It is of three classification. Number one is known to be the light oils. Number two is known to be the middle oil, and number three is known to be the heavy oil. Fractional distillation is a method. Fractional distillation is a method where we are separating each individual fuel component from the crude oil. I'm repeating, where we are separating each individual fuel component from the crude oil, because the crude oil containing mixture state, the crude oil contains the mixture of the fuel components. Right. Now let me see the continuation here. The next one we are saying about cracking process we will see in the next class.